He is the luckiest heavyweight on planet Earth. Alright, welcome back to another video over here on SCS Combat, and today I'm going to be giving you my predictions for UFC Freedom 250 going down this Sunday night instead of Saturday night. A bit bad for me because now I have to stay up that late 2 nights in a row, but we move. This is going to be the card at the White House. If you remember that being announced and maybe aren't as involved in the sport, it is finally time for this one to go down. It's a great card. It's a stacked card. I'm going to get into it, give you a breakdown of every fight and my predictions. So yeah, let's go. So starting off here, we have what could actually end up being the best, most competitive fight on the card, I would say, which is Diego Lopez taking on Steve Garcia. Now, a lot of people know Diego Lopez from his title fights against Alexander Volkanovski, where he obviously come up short twice, but was a great contender and a great fighter in those fights. Dropped Volk, gave him a lot of challenges, landed a lot of nice shots. He's a really good fighter. He also holds the win over Gene Silva, which is probably his best win. Held him down in the first round, battered his head with elbows. In the second round, as soon as Gene Silva was starting to have success, caught him when he was running in and spinning elbow, bang, what a shot, knocked him out. Now, many people know him, but I'd say Steve Garcia is less known. But if you don't know, get to know, because Steve Garcia is an unbelievable fighter. He's lost once in the UFC, but in his last 7 fights from that, he's on a 7-fight win streak, and he's got 6 KOs in his last 7 fights. So he's a really good fighter, very good boxer. So his last fight was Onama, and look, I watched it live. I think I did a watch party for it, but Onama was not there to fight. I don't know what was wrong with Onama that night, but he was running, and you're like, mate, start throwing something. He never really threw much back. Steve Garcia, very good head movement, very good boxing, and was able to close the show there on Onama and fairly quickly as well. Diego Lopez is a hard hitter and he's a good striker, but obviously the jiu-jitsu's where he stands out, and I think he's going to go and try and go for that against Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia's fought Gunnar Nelson, who's a grappler, but he hasn't fought anyone like Diego Lopez that can mix it up on the feet and the grappling. A lot of his fights have been against strikers. He's been a striker realistically. He's got, I mean, the finishes of a lot of them will come from the feet. He's a very good fighter. He's a very good boxer. You look at Steve Garcia's head movement, very good head movement, moving all the time, smart head movement, twitchy, good with feints, good boxing, like really good boxing. And for MMA, he's a very good boxer. When you look at his patience as well, something I noticed in the Onama fight when I watched it back there is when he dropped him, he just sort of just didn't run in, didn't rush in, and just walk forward, and then he threw a shot. He's a very patient fighter, very good boxer. Diego Lopez, on the other hand, is hard hitter, like I was saying. Good striker on the feet, was able to drop Volk. He's got good hands, but like I was saying, jiu-jitsu and the grappling's where he really stands out. Very close to submitting even Movsar Evloev, which is obviously one of the highest level grapplers in the division alongside Diego Lopez, as we come to find out. I think that was his debut and fought him on short notice, and a lot of people might have thought he won that. So Diego Lopez is a solid fighter. He's a great fighter. I'm going to pick him to get it done here. I think that once they start getting into it, I think Diego Lopez isn't going to stay on the feet. I think he's going to go towards the grappling more, and I think we could see a submission victory for Diego Lopez in this one. Steve Garcia has been knocked out before, to be fair. He's been stopped, so Lopez could also maybe drop him into submission is what I'm thinking. But I think that Diego Lopez is a very high step up for Steve Garcia, who just beat Onama, who never really offered him much when it come to the fight. Didn't really throw much back. I'm going to pick Diego Lopez here. I think Steve Garcia's way to victory though would be to just keep boxing over the 3 rounds. If he can defend the takedowns, he's got a very high takedown defense ratio or percentage, but he hasn't really had many shot on him, I don't think. So that's his path to victory, is to strike on the feet, keep the fight on the feet, and break Diego Lopez down over the 3 rounds to get it done. But I'm going to pick Diego Lopez via submission here to start it off. Moving on, and apologies if this one looks weird on the screen, but the UFC website has kind of gone up the left here. So we have half of Cal Dawkins' head here, and he's taking on Bo Nickel. Now, Bo Nickel, a lot of hype come into the UFC, and I mean a lot of hype comes in, is definitely got what Tony Ferguson would like to call Dana White privilege, and he goes on to actually do pretty good. To be fair, he was doing good, and he built up into his first real high level fight, which was Rune de Ridder, and unfortunately for him, he got stopped there with knees to the body. RDR, very high pressure fighter, very good fighter, broke Bo Nickel down through the rounds and then got him out of there eventually with a knee to the body. Kyle Dawkins, on the other hand, coming off a win over Gerald Meerschaert, is an interesting fighter. He's got good power, he's got good submission skills, he's got good IQ, because he dropped Meerschaert, and instead of just chasing and throwing ground and pound, he probably could have got the TKO, to be honest, but instead he locked up a nice Darson there and he got the Dar submission victory, and that's great submission, great win for him there. He shows both sides, he shows the grappling, he shows the striking, he's got good range, he's got solid power, solid hands. Bo Nickel though, I think he's going to get this one done. Bo Nickel is vastly improving. Like, he gets a lot of hate, and to be fair, he was saying a lot of stuff that was relatively stupid at the time, like when he was saying he would beat Hamzat and all. I don't think he'd fought RDR yet, do you know what I mean? Like, he was never at that level yet. But known for his grappling, known for his wrestling, his hands are starting to come along nice. His last fight against Pereira was a good striking fight for him. Nice jab in there, a couple of nice right hands, nice to the body, and then obviously in the end, beautiful KO. Throws out that backhand, comes up with a head kick and knocks his opponent out cold. Leon Edwards over Usman style head kick KO. Very nice knockout from Bo Nickal. I'm going to pick him here. This fight was sort of a surprise, but when you look at Bo Nickal's career, you could have guessed it, because anytime there's a really big card and there should be another fight on the main card, it's usually filled up by Bo Nickal. He was on UFC 300, the main card as well, so definitely Dana White privilege in his hands, but he's making his way back up, and you got to give him time to improve, because he did just sort of translate over, and then he's in the UFC, and you got to give him time to improve, and I think he's doing it, and I think he's going to get this win over Cal Dawkins. I'll go for a decision victory here for Bo Nickal. Alright, and after that, this fight right here. After that, we have Mauricio Ruffy taking on Michael Chandler. Now this, look, Captain America here and Michael Chandler, it's probably going to be a long night for him, to be honest with you. He's going to walk out, he's going to walk out to Born in the USA or something. He's going to be screaming, see you at the top, and he's going to walk out, and in my opinion, he's going to get absolutely chinned. Look, he was asking for the Conor McGregor fight for years, and it was even booked and all that stuff, and he's had 2 wins in the UFC, and that came against Tony Ferguson, who, as much as I'm a fan of him, was obviously on that losing streak and heading out of the UFC at that point. He also dropped Michael Chandler in that fight, and then Michael Chandler won his debut against Dan Hooker. That was a good knockout. 2 good knockouts, obviously the front kick, which was absolutely brutal, and the overhand right in his debut. But from then, or from those fights, I mean, battered by Gaethje, beaten by Poirier, brutalized by Paddy Pimblett. I mean, the words that can describe Michael Chandler. Knocked out by Oliveira, beat by Oliveira again. His fight style is just, like, he's a very solid, good fighter, but his wrestling and his overhands, I sort of think of him as Chad Mendes at times, but he's taking on Ruffy here, who is pretty much the younger version of Conor McGregor's style, going against Michael Chandler, which is going to be a long day for him. Look, Ruffy's got the height, Ruffy's got the range, and genuinely, I think he's going to knock Michael Chandler out cold in round 1 or round 2. I think it's going to be the same as last time with Ruffy, where you're looking at him, waiting, bang, counter, and he's going to knock Michael Chandler out cold. He is going to knock Michael Chandler out. I'm taking Mauricio Ruffy in this one. I suppose I'll see you at the top, Michael Chandler. Good luck to you, like, but I don't think this one's going to go your way at all, mate. There we go. Maybe if Conor gets beat by Max and you get beat by Ruffy, maybe we do a send-off fight for the both of you, and we'll throw you on some card and put them together then, but I really don't think this one's going to end well for Michael Chandler at all, so we'll move on. Oh yes, here we go. The multiple personality man. Alright, here we go. The man with the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history and UFC history, taking on the rising sensation of the heavyweight division in Josh Hockett. Derek Lewis versus Josh Hockett. What a fight. This is just funny to me. So Josh Hockett had such a rise, and then he started doing this personality stuff, which grew his character even further when he was running about. I don't even know what you call the characters he was doing, but he was doing like the Mexican voice, and then he was going up and he was talking to Alex Pereira, and obviously when it come to the first press conference for this card, Elliot Poirier as well, and he was going at him. But I just, like, you just thought that last time out against Curtis Blaydes was too far of a step up, and that this wasn't going to end well for him, and that he was finally going to end up in one of those this is why you shouldn't talk about your opponent compilations. But he went out there, stuck it on Curtis Blaydes, went to absolute war and won a decision, which was insane. It was one of the best fights in UFC history, especially heavyweight history, especially these days as well. Unbelievable stuff from Josh Hockett. Now Derek Lewis on the other hand, extremely heavy-handed, we know this by now. The last time out against Waldo Cortez Acosta, man, just crumbled under a jab, gets tired quickly. Look, I don't think the same way that he traded with Curtis Blaydes would be a smart thing to do with Derek Lewis. I think if he does that, the probability of him getting caught and knocked out is probably high, because obviously Curtis Blaydes nearly stopped him as well. But honestly, man, I gotta pick Josh Hockett here to get it done. I think if he can avoid the big power shot from Derek Lewis, I think he could put the pace on him and actually maybe even stop him after a couple of rounds, because Derek Lewis gets tired quickly. You know, no matter what he does, he always gets tired, and if he doesn't get you out of there early, your chances go up very quickly. So it's either going to be a Josh Hockett late finish or decision victory here, or a Derek Lewis absolute annihilation KO where Josh Hockett ends up in every YouTube compilation ever made. But we're going to find out. I'm going to take Josh Hockett here. Why not? He's going to be smaller again, but he was smaller last time. Lighter man skill, get it done. Moving on up the card, Sean O'Malley. Now, Sean O'Malley takes on Amian Zahabi, two very high level fighters at the bantamweight division. I think this is number 3 taking on number 6, so a very high level matchup here and title contentions for the winner. Sean O'Malley has become one of the UFC's star fighters, but he was never a superstar, which was their plan for him and his plan for him as well. He's mentioned it before that his game plan was to sort of follow McGregor and talk the talk and walk the walk and try and be that star, but it just didn't go to plan for Sean O'Malley, and he had a meteoric rise, to be honest. He had an insane rise in the sport, coming up, knocking people out cold. He had the controversies, he suspended for years, and he had the Cheeto Vera fight, the first one where his leg gave out, another fight where his ankle gave out, but he actually won that one. But then over the last couple of years, he just kept building and building, and then eventually found himself in that Peter Yan fight where he went back and forth with one of the best complete fighters in the sport. And regardless of what you thought of the fight at the time and who you think should have actually got it, O'Malley ended up hurting him in there, cutting him in there, and taking the decision from him as well, which was probably the best win in O'Malley's record, even if you look at the Aljo win, because although yes, Aljo won the second fight, Peter Yan was beating him in that first fight, and it's probably, I mean, he beat Merab as well. Peter Yan's arguably the best bantamweight of all time, and Sean O'Malley beat him. So, and he beat Aljamain Sterling, who's also arguably the best ever bantamweight. So Sean O'Malley, not to be disrespected, to say the least, he obviously had those 2 fights against Merab where unfortunately it didn't go his way. I actually thought the first fight was closer than people give him credit for, but obviously he got dominated and submitted in the second fight. Very good striker, rangy striker, very precise, very good timing. When you look at the knee on Cheeto, the knockout on Wineland, just some of the shots he lands in there, the timing, the counter shot on Aljo, very good counter puncher, very good power. Moral of the story, you stay on the feet with Sean O'Malley, he's going to be hard to beat, and this is why I think he's going to win, because Amian Zahabi is a very good fighter. He's a striker as well. He loves to strike. He fought Cheeto last time. He gets dropped though. He fought Aldo. He got hurt badly in that fight, and Aldo was at the end of his career. He fought Cheeto. He got dropped in that fight with a jab, and I can't help but think that Sean O'Malley is going to put on a unanimous decision victory, 30-27, especially with this reach advantage that you mightn't see because my thing's probably over it, but Sean O'Malley has a 4-inch reach advantage on him as well. I think Sean O'Malley's going to stay at range, stay at distance, and I think he's going to outstrike, and I think if he lands the right shot, knock out Amian Zahabi. So I'm going to pick Sean O'Malley for this one, and I think he's going to find himself, if he wins this one, I think he's going to find himself in the rematch with Peter Yan, which is going to be a very good fight, and I'm hyped to see it. So I just think that Amian Zahabi's very open to being hit, especially by a striker like Sean O'Malley. I think his defense isn't going to work as well. He's sort of got this half Philly shell. It's weird defense, and yeah, I don't think it's going to work for him. I don't think his style's going to work. He has nice leg kicks he's seen in the Cheeto fight, which could help him against O'Malley, because obviously O'Malley's very good at moving, but I don't think it's going to work out for him. I just don't think he's going to get caught, and I think O'Malley's going to stop him. If he doesn't stop him, I think he goes on to win unanimous decision anyways. So that's my pick there. Moving on. Alright, moving on to the co-main event. Here we go. Alex Pereira takes on Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title of the world. Now, you want to talk about the stars aligning for someone. Cyril Gane has fought Taito Ivasa for an interim title. He's fought John Jones, Francis Ngannou for the full title. He's fought Tom Aspinall for the full title. And now he's fighting Alex Pereira for the interim belt again. He is the luckiest heavyweight on planet Earth. He's a good fighter, but don't get me wrong, Taito Ivasa hasn't won a fight in about 15 years. And he eye poked Tom Aspinall. Ngannou out wrestled him, and John Jones subbed him in a choke that didn't even look like it was that hard to break. Obviously it was, and I can't really say that from my desk, but you get the point. That wasn't the best or the tightest guillotine we've ever seen, and Jones beat him so easily as well. And the Volkov thing as well, he should never have won that last Volkov fight, so he is so lucky, it's unbelievable. And he's genuinely one of my least favourite fighters. He's a big cheater. You look at the eye poke against Aspinall, which he done twice in there. Unfortunately, the latter time it comes through and he nearly poked Aspinall's eyeballs through the back of his head, both of them, 2 fingers. So I also think that Cyril Gane punches in the back of the head repeatedly. You look at the Taito Ivasa finish where he's hitting Ty on the feet and Ty's covering up, and he's sort of leant over with his hands up and just hammer fists to the back of the head from Cyril Gane. He's a dirty fighter. He cheats in there. He breaks the rules. There's no denying it. And he finds himself in his 5th title fight technically this weekend, which is insane to me. But anyways, Alex Pereira, on the other hand, unbelievable kickboxer, and has pretty much been unstoppable since that loss to Izzy. He obviously had that sort of stumble in the road against Ankalaev, but I think he fairly righted that that wrong. And he beat Izzy as well. So look, you could say that he's got revenge for both of his defeats in the UFC, and his status as the GOAT in this sport could be, you know, you could argue it now if he does win this belt. But in my opinion, for him to fully be like this, could actually just be the full GOAT of the sport. I think he needs to beat Tom Aspinall. Just saying. No, Tom Aspinall's not available right now because Cyril Gane. So, like, if you think about it, the universe, right? Theoretically, let's just say Cyril Gane kept fighting Tom Aspinall. Tom eventually gets a hold of him, gets him down. Obviously, it's theoretical that Tom would have won that fight and Gane was doing good. It's not guaranteed, but you have to assume that Tom Aspinall was going to find a way, and then we would have had him against Pereira at the White House for the full title. Or even if Gane won, this would have been for the full belt. But instead, Cyril Gane goes out there and just absolutely takes Tom Aspinall's eyes. Like, it's actually a joke how bad that eye poke was, and for the fact that he never really got as much hate because people were more focused on calling Tom Aspinall a quitter. It's insane. Anyways, moving on to the styles. Cyril Gane is a very good kickboxer, got good kicks, got long range, he's got good strikes. You see with the reach advantage that he has here, he's a natural heavyweight. He's been at heavyweight. Alex Pereira, on the other hand, started at middleweight in the UFC at 185. He is going to be the better kickboxer here. Gane has a good job. He's got good distance control, and this is where his game plan will come into play, because Gane is going to do the same thing that he did to Aspinall. He's going to go on the back foot, he's going to keep moving, he's going to throw out his jab, and he's going to try and stay as far away as possible from Alex Pereira, which is the truth. If Cyril Gane can go out here in 50-45, the most boring unanimous decision you've ever seen in your life, he's going to do it because it's his only path to victory. Regardless, I think Alex Pereira is going to go in there. I think he's going to chop the legs down. He's going to start breaking the legs of Cyril Gane, slowing that movement down, starting to work the body, working the kicks to the head, maybe, or to the body as well. Then he's going to start throwing the hooks, the combinations, the hard punches. I think he's going to stop Cyril Gane in there. He could do it quick. He could just see Cyril Gane running and go, do you know what? I'm going to run as well. Let's go shot for shot. And you have to think that Pereira would win that. Even though Gane's a hard hitter, like, you have to take Pereira in that. I think he's going to get Cyril Gane out of there. I think he's going to catch him trying to move out. I think he's going to catch him on that left hook, to be honest with you. So that's my prediction, Alex Pereira KO. The way that Cyril Gane could get it done is that when you watch the videos of Pereira boxing and strictly boxing, or even in the UFC at times when he got caught obviously with Izzy, those hands, those gaps are there in that guard of Alex Pereira, and it's dangerous, and it's got even more dangerous now that he's up at heavyweight. But honestly, I don't think it's going to matter for him. He showed a good chin from that Izzy fight. He's given no reason for concern. I suppose Roundtree sort of clipped him and hit him with a flash knockdown, but up at heavyweight even more, you got to think his chin's going to be good, his power's going to be good. Hopefully he can last longer. There's going to be a lot more weight on him, so hopefully he can keep going throughout the fight and doesn't get more tired. But I'm going to pick Alex Pereira with an early KO here, to be honest with you. And if it's not early, I'll go round 4 or 5. I think it goes middle round. Cyril Gane will keep running if he gets away with it in the first round, but I think Pereira's going to stop him either way. So that's my prediction for the co-main event, the White House card. Moving on to the main event of the White House card, Ilia Topuria takes on Justin Gaethje. What a fight this is going to be. Justin Gaethje is extremely lucky to be in this position again. The only reason that Justin Gaethje's fighting Ilia Topuria right now is Arman Tsarukyan, and it's his fault. He's the one that hit the fans in the crowd. He's the one that headbutted Dan Hooker at the day before the fight. He's the one that pulled out the day before the fight with Makhachev. It's his fault, and it's his decisions that have led to Justin Gaethje getting the interim title shot against Pimblett and stuff like that. So Gaethje is even the second best lightweight in the world right now. I think it's Arman Tsarukyan, to be honest with you. Either way, he ends up fighting Ilia Topuria for the undisputed title. Topuria is on a villain arc right now, to be honest with you. He's knocking out your favorite fighters, your heroes, left, right, and center. You look to your right, you see Volkanovski going out cold. You look to your left, you see Holloway going out cold. Then you look again, you see Oliver sleeping on the floor. He's an actual destroyer. Ilia Topuria is a very, very, very high level boxer. Great combinations. I think the one time he got caught was the Jai Herbert head kick. Holloway was outboxing him from range, and Gaethje's going to have the reach advantage here, but it's only by an inch. Like, that's not good for Gaethje. I think you need range on him, to be honest with you, to even get close to beating him, and even then he's very good at closing these gaps. Gaethje is a brawler. There's a lot more shots available to hit him with when he's throwing than there is for Topuria, but the redeemer here for Justin Gaethje is those hands. He's heavy-handed. He's a hard puncher, and Topuria's been dropped. Gaethje's been dropped and knocked out cold before, to be fair. It's hard to pick against an undefeated fighter, and I'm not going to here because I'm going to pick Ilia Topuria via an early KO, especially after what's unfolded this week with Gaethje saying things and Topuria saying. Topuria does actually talk like he knows what the future is, though. It's insane because it's like you already know what he says is most likely to come true, and it is crazy. I mean, to be fair, he does what he says he's going to. I think this is going to be a great fight while it lasts. I think it's going to end early, and I think Topuria is going to finish him early. I think that Gaethje's got potential here. You look at the head kick KO against Topuria, maybe something like that'll come to play. Maybe a knee he would be the player for Gaethje here. He's got the leg reach advantage. Let's see. He's got a 3-inch leg reach advantage, so I think low kicks is going to be a huge thing for Justin Gaethje in this fight. He used them against Fiziev. He used a lot of kicks against fight like that. I think low kicks from Gaethje early to try and stop Toporia's movement, which he's very good at, to be fair. I think that he's heavy-handed, and Justin Gaethje, don't get me wrong, could cause Ilia Topuria a lot, and I mean a lot of problems in this fight, and he could most definitely win. He could stop him. He could break him down over 5 rounds if you're looking at the kicks and the punches put together, but you just gotta pick Ilia Topuria at this moment in time. I think that even if I was to get this one wrong, Gaethje was to win. I've done a good job explaining how he could win, but this is, I mean, he's 17-0. He's on an absolutely brutal KO streak over fighters that are, yes, way better than Justin Gaethje. Holloway beat Gaethje, Bulk Wood beat Gaethje, and Oliveira did beat Gaethje. So look, he's older now. Justin Gaethje's going to retire if he loses this fight, or he might have one more. But in this moment in time, in this current day, Ilia Topuria is the pick for this one. I think he's going to get it done via knockout. Then I think he fights Arman if he doesn't fight Islam, but that's a whole other thing. Ian Gary's supposed to fight Islam in August. It's August 30th, so there's a lot of stuff going on there, and look, we'll see what happens with it. But that's going to be my picks for this one. We have Diego Lopez, Bo Nickel, Sean O'Malley, Josh Hockett, Ilia Topuria, and Alex Pereira is going to be my picks for this one. Let's go. I'm hyped to the White House card because it's going to be fun to see either way. Look, I don't really care that it's at the White House, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure it might look cool, but I'm not American, so I don't really care about that. But the fights is what I care about, and the fights are bangers, so you gotta love it. It's going to be all. Like, subscribe, follow for more. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.